Hi everyone, Miss Curdy here, and today we are beginning our topic 5 in our workbook. Before we get started on topic 5 though, we're going to review our patterns and our properties because this is something that we're going to be using again in 5.1, which is patterns for multiplication facts. So we want to make sure that we are comfortable with all of those patterns and properties that we've already learned in topics 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you'll need these 2 note sheets to begin. And then there is a third one for topic 5.1 that you'll need right after this. So let's take a look at our patterns and our properties. Before we look for patterns in the equations and in our multiplication chart, we want to make sure we review those. So let's take a look at this. We've got the commutative property, and that tells us that no matter the order of our factors, we're still going to get the same product. So if I write 3 times 4, which I know is 3 groups of 4, that is going to equal 12. Now, if I switch the order of those 2 factors, I'm still going to get the same answer. So I can do 4 groups of 3, and I'm still going to get the same product. Then we have the associative property, and that tells us that if we're multiplying 3 or more factors, we can actually do so in any order. So if I had the factors 3 times 2 times 4, I can multiply them in any order. If I wanted to do 3 times 2 first and get 6 times 4, I would get an answer of 24. I can take those same factors and instead multiply the 2 and the 4 together to get 8, and 3 times 8 is still going to give me 24. I could even do 3 times 4 and get 12. And 12 times 2 again would still get me 24. So no matter what the order is, we're always going to get the same product. And that goes if you were even multiplying 50 numbers together. Does not matter what order you do it in. Here is the distributive property. I put a couple stars here because it's probably the most complicated property that we know of. And let's go ahead and read what this says. Distributive property says that a multiplication fact can be broken down into 2 smaller facts. And then the sum of those products of the 2 smaller facts will equal the product of the larger one. In simpler terms, in simpler words, that means that we can take a large fact, we can break it down into 2 smaller facts, get the products, and then add those 2 products together, and that will give us the answer of our original equation. So let's see that in action. Let's say I was multiplying 6 times 8. I can actually break this equation down into 2 smaller facts by breaking up one of my factors. I'm going to break that 6 up into a 5 and a 1. So instead of doing 6 times 8, I'm going to have 2 smaller equations, 5 times 8 and 1 times 8. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like. 5 times 8 and then 1 times 8. And over here it says that the sum of these 2 products are going to give us our original answer. So I'm going to add those together at the end. 5 times 8 is 40. 1 times 8 is 8. And when I add those 2 together, I get 48. And that is indeed what 6 times 8 equals. So again, I can take one fact and break it up into 2 smaller facts, find those products, and then add them together at the end to get the answer to that original equation. All right, let's look at the next note sheet, which has our identity property, our zero property, and then our even and odd patterns. So as we remember, the identity property just says that any factor times 1 is always going to be the other factor. So 1 times 9 is 9. I can even do 999 times 1, and that will just give me 999. So no matter what that other factor is, when I'm multiplying by 1, I'll always get the other factor. The zero property just is any number times 0 is going to give me 0. So if I do 0 times 9, I'm going to get 0. If I do 999 times 0, I again will get just 0. Down here, the even and odd patterns states that an even number times an even number is always even. Even times even. Even times even is always even. An even number times an odd number is always even, and an odd number times an odd number is always odd. So down here we've got even times even will equal even. Uneven times an odd, or an odd times an even, will always be even. And then odd times odd will always give us an odd number. So these are 6 different patterns and properties that we want to keep in mind throughout topic 5-1. We will be using these throughout that lesson. Please glue these in your notebook and get ready for your next video on topic 5-1. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.